Good morning, family. How are you? I am April R. Silver, your very happy host on this Saturday. My goodness gracious, it's the middle of March. I don't know how we got here so fast. You're watching Ascending on Marc Lamont Hill Network on YouTube and on Twitter. We are grateful that you are here. I can tell you now, buckle up. This show is going to be so layered. I promise you when I say it's going to be really, really layered, and you will thank us later. We're here every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, live on Marc Lamont Hill Network. And this is the time where you got to go tell your people to tune in. Tell your people, text them, call them, or whatever. And while you're doing that, we're going to let people know that this is the opportunity that you get to tell us from where you are ascending. Y'all know we've been doing this. What is this, episode number 54? We've been doing this for, well, it's relative. We've been doing this for 54 original episodes on a weekly basis, and we're very grateful. And we know that a lot of you all watch from all over the country, all over the world. So tell us from where you are ascending. Put it in the chat, and we'll shout you out on screen either now in the middle or at the end of the show. But tell your people. Again, this is original episode number 54. We have a very, very special guest, and I'm going to introduce in just a little bit. Episode 54 is entitled From Alleys to Boardrooms, a Hip Hop History, with our featured guest, pardon me, Lou Romaine, or Louis Romaine, or Louis Romaine Jr., or Atco. We're going to explain all of that. This person is going to bring us inside information as a graffiti writer, as a journalist, as a director, creative director at Universal Records. Like, it's so many layers. But his journey in hip hop culture is worthy of a whole bunch of ascending moments. So definitely buckle up. We want you to get ready because y'all know we are hip hop heads over here. Rolando, hi. Rolando's here. I'm always so extra happy when our family comes into the space. Good to see you, Rolando. Code 13 is always like the first person in the chat. So I saw that earlier from Black Brooklyn, no less. Code 13D. Good morning to you. So yeah, tell us from where you are ascending. I'm really excited to be doing the show. Shout out to Marc Lamont Hill, uh, the Marc Lamont Hill Network team, everybody, and my team: Drake, Aaron, Kevin, Sandy, Dwayne, and Daryl. We got volunteers. Well, we're all volunteers, but we got volunteers. So I just want to express out loud and publicly that I love you so much for your sacrifices and all the things that you do. I saw a good morning comment. Where was somebody coming from somewhere before I go on? Where did I see a moment ago? There was a comment. Oh, because Sandy's here. Sandy's a part of the team. That's my Sandy. Thank you, Sandy, for watching always, always, always from Virginia. So let's just jump right in. Oh, and we got Mo Beasley in the house, checking in from Miami Beach, Florida. Y'all see Mo Beasley on the show. Um, and Mo Beasley is going to be actually on this show at the end, but we'll explain that just a little bit later. So with that said, I want to remind you to definitely support this independent Black media movement. Hashtag Black media. Hashtag indie movement. You can do so by joining Mark's Patreon. The Patreon is on the screen for those who can see the banners. But if you are uh, not watching, you can know it's patreon.com. But look at family, be clear. The Patreon is patreon.com/Marc Lamont Hill official. I verified it. Even though the name of the channel has changed on YouTube, it's Marc Lamont Hill Network. That's the new URL on YouTube, Marc Lamont Hill Network. The Patreon is still the same. If you can, become a member because that helps to keep all of these operations in check, and we would appreciate it sincerely. On that note, we're going to jump right into good morning from Indianapolis, Indiana, Miss J. Wright. I hope I said that right, Miss J. White. Welcome, welcome, welcome. On that note, let's go into our segments, family. Let's go into bookmark. Now, this bookmark is called Our Minds Were Always Free by Lisa E. Davis. I am extra excited about this particular bookmark because if you know anything about the industry, and this is why I thought it was really appropriate to have Lisa E. Davis be the bookmark feature for today, she is a powerhouse attorney. Man, Lisa's been in the game for the past 40 something years, practicing law, protecting the rights of Black folks and Black creatives and organizations and people and corporate entities, and not just Black people, of course. She's a partner at a major law firm that's been doing this work. When I say for 40 years plus, I'm talking 4 decades plus. And she is a powerhouse. Her book, Our Minds Were Always Free. The subtitle is A History of How Black Brilliance Was Exploited and the Power to Retake Control. That book is important because we're talking about Black intellectual property and all of those people who were robbed, all of our ancestors who were robbed of their intellectual property and other people profited off of it. And then in her book, she talks about those who were not robbed and how they created um, intergenerational wealth. Now, I've not read the book. It's not even out. It's coming out on May 19th. You got to tell me in the chat why you know May 19th is important. You got to tell me in the chat. I'm not going to even give you a hint. This audience got to know why May 19th is important. That's when the book is coming out. And I'm so happy to say that Lisa E. Davis is now a client at Aquila Work Songs, officially, pen to paper, officially a client at Aquila Work Songs. So when you hear about the book, it's going to be significantly so, because we told you about it. So we are the PR firm for Ms. Davis, and we're really excited about it. And we'll look to have her on Marc Lamont Hill Network in the coming weeks. But there's a pre-order. You can get the books now. You don't have to wait till May 19th. Guys, did we put it? Did somebody tell us why May 19th is important? Somebody has to have known. Somebody knows why May 19th. I'm not gonna say a word. Thank you. Mo Beasley. I know he ain't the only one that knows, but he's the one I see in this year. KP 9112. Yes, Malcolm X's birthday. 101 years old had he been living, in the flesh, had he lived in the flesh. We know that the spirit of Malcolm lives. But yes, Our Minds Were Always Free is coming out and will be out in stores. And there are book signings that we're going to be organizing as well across the country. So you should sign up to the Aquila Works on Put on Blast email list. We'll tell you about that later, but you should sign up so you can know, or you can follow Lisa on IG. We'll have her here. Don't worry. You will not be missing out on information on that. But when we talk about bookstores, family, you know how we do. When we talk about bookstores, we talk about Black owned bookstores, in particular, Black owned, women owned is a part of what we love here, and progressive Black owned, progressive bookstores, pardon me. And the one that we always talk about first is Uncle Bobby's in Philadelphia, because it's owned by Marc Lamont Hill himself. They're 9 years old. Next year, 2027. Yeah, 2027. Uncle Bobby's will be celebrating 10 years. I would imagine they're going to do something big, but you should definitely know about Uncle Bobby's in Philadelphia. You can go get some books. You can go get some coffee. We also want to tell you, though, we want to highlight the special shout out that we do. And this time it's not about another bookstore outside of Uncle Bobby's. It is about the National Association of Black Bookstores. As a matter of fact, Lisa reminded me of that. I'm like, oh yeah, I knew they exist, but we got to shout them out. We've not shouted them out on Ascending, and we got to, because we've been doing bookmarks and shouting out bookstores for months. Go to NAB2, NA, the letter B, and then the number 2. NAB2.org is the website of the National Association of Black Bookstores. The reason why I want you to know about that, because they need our financial support. You can donate. You can learn about all of the bookstores, the Black-owned bookstores that are part of this association. You can learn about them if you go to the website. I know our beloved Rolando is going to put that in the chat, but it's on the screen if you're watching. NAB2, that's the number 2.org, because that's how we do on a regular basis. we're not doing black spaces, right? We're gonna I think we said we're not gonna do that. So what that says to me is we got to do a memoriam. And I'm gonna tell you we're doing in memoriam part one because we are gonna have a very special, extra special in memoriam at the end of the show. But we'll take this banner down and we will talk about and offer our condolences to the family, to the friends, to the loved ones of Lord Sear, the legendary DJ and an iconic voice in the New York hip hop scene. You see on the screen a screenshot from OK Player, another black media outlet that talks about who he is, or who he is in spirit, and who he was in the physical and the earthly realm. He just passed just a couple of days ago. So this is a very hip hop specific show today. And we wanted to keep it, that way in a number of different ways. So again, our condolences to the family, to the colleagues, to the business partners, to the friends. Definitely something that we wanted to do out of respect for in memoriam here on Ascending. Family, please be sure to tell your family and friends to watch the show. Uh-oh, sorry, pardon me. To watch the show. Buckle up. We could take this banner down, and because in 2 seconds I'm going to do my best to introduce someone who is iconic talking about hip hop. But this is the kind of iconic that is like behind the scenes and low key people who shape the culture. You know how people be doing the most in their field, but are not out there. You know what I mean, and known and famous with celebrity status. But anybody who knows them, when you talk to them, they're like, "Yo, that's my dude. That's my guy." That's what we have today in the flesh of Lou Romaine, who is going to be coming on the stage. And when I tell you that this man right here is my brother who I love dearly, we can bring Lou Romaine to the stage because his journey is a classic one. His journey is one that we'll talk about in just a second. As
Hey,
a
Lou, I think
graffiti
your
writer,
camera's off. Sorry, April.
my camera's off.
April, Lou's camera's off.
Oh, okay. That's
We
Drake,
have him on
folks.
stage.
So we're working on his camera getting on. Well, obviously we are. Um, is that a glitch? Oh, there you are. Hey, Lou.
How you doing, April? Good morning. It's a pleasure to
Good.
be here.
Good morning. Good morning. I am so happy to see you. When you came in pre-production, did you see me do my little dance? I was like, Lou's here.
I'm not worthy. Definitely not
Yes,
worthy.
yes. You're more
It's,
worthy than you think you are. I
it's
was doing a
great.
whole setup because I want the audience to know that there is a fraternity or sorority or a guild or a section of our community in all aspects of life where you have people behind the scenes who are impacting the culture, the work, the industry, the whatever. And as in the society, we know we know the celebrities, but you are one of probably the most beloved people behind in hip hop culture. And I needed people to understand that. And what I was saying is, as a graffiti writer, when you started in the 80s, right? Um, we're going to talk about that. We're going to
Sure.
talk about how you, from there to Howard University, which is where I met you, right?
Right. It's you.
And then from there to the music industry, like inside the music industry, you were inside the music industry, directing the culture, the language, the visuals as a creative service person, executive brother. And then also now you're in the New York City Department of Education. That's a hefty journey. So
It's a beautiful
welcome.
struggle.
Yes. Yes. So my friend, let's talk about let's start with graffiti, right?
Sure.
One of the core elements of hip hop.
hmm
You and your what were you ATCO? That was
Ac-
your
ACO. So I started in 1981, and in the graffiti world, it's all about creating your name, your moniker. And so at the time, unbeknownst to a lot of people, I was listening to a lot of different music, including hard rock music. So I wanted to be obscure and not come up with something that someone could duplicate. So one of the record labels of a rock band called AC/DC, uh, the label was called ACO. And after stumbling with a couple of other ones, I said, that one really works. So I picked that for me about the end of 1981, going into 1982.
So you mean to tell me that your name
I got
don't
you.
have nothing to do with hip hop? It ain't no acronym, some creative whatever.
It's all about the creative, rebellious expression and kind of being anti and going against the grain. And so that somewhat appealed to me when I was younger. Growing up in Brooklyn Heights, Brooklyn, uh, was a little bit different than where originally my mom was from, which was Crown Heights, Brooklyn, which I would go to every weekend when my mom was doing her. My grandmother, of course, lived there too. But yeah, so I kind of was exposed to a lot of different worlds growing up in
Yeah. And
Brooklyn at that.
I've met your lovely mother. I've had the opportunity to meet her like 1,000 years ago. Met your dad as well. May he always rest in peace. You know what I
Thank
mean? If we have a
Yes,
picture
yes.
of Lou and his parents, that would be amazing. Because
so
what we
so
do.
So just
Go
as you were bringing up the relevance of May 19th, my mom was born on the same day as Martin Luther King, January 15th, 1929. And she at 97 is sharper than I will ever be at 97 right now. So
Yeah,
yeah, she's one
yeah,
of those.
yeah.
She's
There she is. There she
yeah.
is in the middle.
In the
Yep.
middle. That's mom, Dr. June Mulvaney Romaine. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And that
I
is your dad.
actually
Yes.
Yeah, that's my dad. That's my
Yeah.
dad. I'm named after. I'm a junior, Louis Romaine Jr. And so, just quick point. My mom, I would like to say to people at times, my mom was born here but had Jamaican parents. My dad came from Haiti, and I'm from Brooklyn. So,
Yeah. That's a lot.
yes, yes.
I mean,
So
that's a lot of good stuff. That's what I
a
should
lot
have
of good
said.
stuff, a lot of good exposure.
Yeah.
And I was the beneficiary of their hard work, their efforts, my grandparents' efforts. My mom's parents migrated here from Jamaica in 1919,
Phew.
just to give them a shout out. And
Yes.
yeah, and wound
It's
up in Brooklyn.
in Brooklyn. Yeah, we don't rush through paying homage to our elders here, not on Ascending. Everybody go tell your family, your friends, you're watching Ascending. I'm April R. Silver. I'm here with Lou Romaine or Atco, and we were talking about the graffiti part, right?
Right.
So okay, so there's no uh uh your tag name Atco is not dreamt in hip hop culture, but there
No,
you are.
it's well. I mean, it's a record company in the '70s that was really prevalent, and they had all sorts of different acts. So R&B acts were on ACO
I'm
Records.
familiar. Yeah.
So but at the time, I was, everybody had at the time the Walkmans. So I was looking at the cassette player, the actual cassette, and then
Yeah.
of course the label was on it, and I said, yeah, why
It
not?
make yeah. My
Yeah,
my 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 father, a lot of what I know about music and black music is because my father was one of them dudes, right?
right,
Like you, I was laying on this carpet on a Saturday morning, looking at the liner notes, looking for the consistency of the musicians, all of those things. And this is as a teenager. So let me just go back to ask you this.
sure.
Before we show any more pictures, guys, images, I want to ask you um, about graffiti as an essential core element of hip
Hmm.
hop.
Hmm.
What is it, in your opinion, if someone who's been doing this since 1981, like you said, What
right.
do people most misunderstand about this core element of hip hop?
Uh, I, wow, that's a deep question. I would say that what they might miss is the fact that it's such a entrenched subculture in itself. We, have our own language, our own mores. It's was handed down from generation to generation. I kind of was schooled by uh, elders, maybe 3, 4 years, ahead of me, that kind of told me, okay, you do this, not this. Try to do this, not that. So I really don't think they get the intricacies of the aspect of it being a complete subculture on its own. If I could just maybe go a little bit deeper, um, New York City subway graffiti really predates hip hop, right? And so with that explosion of the early 1980s through uh, Star Wars, which was a highly touted documentary by Henry Chalfant in 1982, which kind of brought things nationwide and ultimately internationally on subway graffiti. And Wild Style, of course, which came out in 1983, which had Fab Five Freddy in it and a host of graffiti artists that have become legends and really staples in the culture. Graffiti was in New York City. People can kind of argue about it, but it came to be around 1971, 1972.
Yeah,
So as my good friend Chino, BYI, David Villarente would say, we kind of came in on the tail end of New York City subway graffiti, which ended in March 1989. But we were lucky enough to be entrenched in it when it was full blast. And then, of course,
yeah.
it has
It has, and
gone
now it's in museums
internationally.
and galleries, and that's a whole nother conversation
Yes,
for sure.
yes.
I want to ask you a question. So, am I right in understanding that in Philadelphia there was a very, very vibrant graffiti scene, either before or running parallel to the New York scene, graffiti in the 70s or maybe even the late 60s? Is that accurate?
So, yes. So, in terms of New York City graffiti, although it dates back to the 70s, Cornbread in Philadelphia actually
Yeah,
predates that. And
right, right.
so Cornbread was, and then, if you want to even take it back to that, there's the old saying, Kilroy was here, right?
Yes,
On
I
those,
remember the little. I wish we had.
exactly.
If I
So,
was thinking, we
you
would have
know,
got that graphic.
people,
Yeah,
could consider hieroglyphics, right?
KRS-One does, right? He makes it very clear. KRS-One believes that, or has talked about um, graffiti as hieroglyphics. Guys, have I
Part of
frozen
the
or have?
appeal.
Okay,
That
yeah.
was part of the appeal. You're not doing
Uh,
this? How come
Lou
you're
is
not doing
frozen
this?
for a sec.
Who's frozen, guys? Me or
Lou
Lou?
is frozen right
Uh,
now.
Okay,
mhm.
okay, we got you back, Lou. We got you back. We were talking about
Yeah.
hieroglyphics.
Yes, I'm sorry if I was cut off, but yeah. So it's basically, from my vantage point, and a lot of
Yeah, I think that might be just his. So we'll just know, ascending family, that we might have in and outs. Guys, give me a verbal on whether or not I am frozen or not here.
You're
Okay,
not.
so
You're
no,
good.
okay,
you're
so
not.
we're
You're
gonna
good.
take Lou out and bring him back in, maybe? Is that what you all are thinking?
Yeah,
think he completely went out.
yeah.
Okay.
He's out of the studio.
That's okay. I can hold it down. No, I
Yeah,
can't. I cannot.
he's coming back. He's back now.
Okay. Everybody, I will take this opportunity to say, you don't tell me you like the show. Don't tell me you appreciate what we do for the past 54 episodes. If you have not subscribed, don't tell me you like the show and you're glad that what we do and you haven't told your people. So please tell your people, tell your family, your friends. And for those who watch either live or they watch later, thank you. I want to say both things. So do us a favor, help us to grow. We got big visions for this show that we do every Saturday at 11 a.m. live, 11 a.m. Eastern live. So guys, when you want to bring them back on,
Hey,
I could.
Luke, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, is your camera on? Because we can hear you.
It is on.
Okay, let me see if we can get you up there. All right.
There we go.
Hey,
Hey. Well,
hey,
you
listen,
know,
sometimes what just relating to being in the dark, that's all part of the graffiti culture and
that was
aspect
perfect.
too.
That's
I was
perfect.
perfectly comfortable in the dark, in the shadows. I don't know how comfortable you all were, but that's what kind of was the appeal in 1981 when I was 13 years old. And the first time.
Yeah, I know he's frozen again, but that
It
was
wasn't,
perfect.
it wasn't that scary. It was
Right.
really, there were
Tim
about
is
25 of us there. So I kind of felt,
do you felt comfortable,
I
right?
felt comfortable. Yeah, yeah.
And you
So,
know how to pivot. You know how to pivot. There you are again. There you are again. Shout out to Timothy D. Jones. And I think I saw Cherie Warren, Dr. Cherie Warren.
oh,
My
wow.
ace. She's in the comments as well.
Those are
I
my
love you dearly.
people.
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah, you
Cherie
know how we
Warren,
gonna
Timothy
show up for you,
Jones.
Lou Romaine. But look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing here. These
Yeah,
pictures
that
of you
says,
from the 80s, right?
yeah, April 3rd, 1985, before I got some culture at Howard University the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these
this
a
is
lot of these pictures are 84, 85.
now wait,
That-
pause right there, guys. Don't move that picture, Lou. So this is, I know on the, okay, everybody on the screen, there's a subway car on the screen for those who are listening and not watching. And it's back in like the 70s era where all of the New York City subway cars were bombed, right? Did I use that phrase right, Lou?
bombed,
That's what
bombed.
I thought. So
Yes.
look on the left, I see your name, Atco, ATCO, right?
Yes.
And then on the right, what is that? Is
So
that
that
game?
would be my classmate, my high school classmate
Okay,
that wrote Zane. And
Zane.
yeah,
Okay,
and this was done February in 1986, my senior year. And
and this
so,
is your work.
yeah, well, it isn't that great, quite honestly, but and like I said before to other people, that I was more so a graffiti insides bomber, meaning that I kind of got my kicks on writing my name on the inside of trains. So filling up ink from a whatever it may be, so a household device that you could put your permanent ink in, and taking a part of a eraser from school and ripping that and using that as a vehicle to write your name. That's what I did.
That was your, yeah, I
That was
understand.
my MO.
Right.
And so a lot of my other friends went on to like Chino BYI, who is kneeling, and this is on the Brooklyn Bridge, probably about 1987. And
On the Brooklyn Bridge. That's you. That's
yeah,
you and Chino?
I'm sorry.
Is that you and Chino?
No,
The picture
so
that
that is another good friend of mine, Joseph George, who passed away a couple of years ago. He used to write DAPE, DAPE, and so
okay.
I took the picture. So
Oh, you
that's
took the picture.
Chino's handiwork. That was done probably about 2010, and over a period of time, since graffiti on subway trains has disappeared to a large degree. I won't say it completely disappeared,
Right.
but Chino has now gone on to be a really great publisher of books on the forum. He's probably come out with about 6 or 7, and
Yeah.
he's worldwide known. He used to actually do the Source graphics in the Source
Right. I
magazines.
remember the
So
name at least. Yeah.
yeah.
Let me use this as a segue, if I may, to go into the next aspect of what we're doing. But I can honestly tell you without hesitation, I was born and partially raised in New York, right?
Right.
In
We'll take you.
1970. But thank you. Other people are like, you didn't go to high school here, so you're not really a New Yorker. Like I've heard people say that
Nah.
straight. But in 1979, my family we relocated like solidly to Los Angeles in 19 July of 1979.
Got it.
Graffiti was one of the reasons why. I just needed to say that. I remember Dondi all over the place, and people were like, "Who is Dondi?" You know what I mean? What's the other? The other, but it would to the older generation, the working class people. New York was going to hell
Yes.
in the late
The mid
70s,
70s, without question.
according to them, because people were riding on subway cars and bridges and all this other kind of stuff. And my parents were like, "Oh no, we are not raising our children here." And they fulfilled their dreams and was like, "We're going to rest in peace to my father. Um, we're going to Los Angeles." So thanks to you and your kind.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, California is something else too. Los Angeles, those highways, and I mean, I'll just say this in retrospect. I chose the path that I chose, but I really don't regret it, because I think that going through puberty and teenage years, I needed really to validate, that I exist, that I belong.
Yeah, I feel you. I
Yeah.
feel you.
So,
Let me use that, if I may, to talk 2 seconds about Howard University. And this is only an excuse to talk about. So we have images of you in your cap and gown, and we have images of you. That's when you graduated from Howard University in
yeah,
1990,
many moons ago.
the far right.
Yes.
I Yeah.
So,
So
the Howard University experience was something that, I mean, just I can't even almost describe how fortunate I was to get into Howard. I will mention my mom, Dr. June Mulvaney, graduated from medical school at Howard University. And if I probably didn't have a mom that went to Howard University, I probably wouldn't have gotten in. I went to St. Agnes High School for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And I distinctively remember going into the guidance counselor's office and him saying, "Well, where do you want to go to college?" And I said, "Oh, Howard, my mom went there. I just visited, it looked great. I'm going to go to Howard." He's like, "Well, you don't have the grades to go to Howard." I said, "I don't." "Oh, well, what do you recommend?" He said, "Oh, I think a nice 2-year upstate SUNY school would be good for you. I can make some calls and we can do something." And I said, "With all due respect, I really don't want to go there." And he said, "Well, you don't have the grades to go to Howard." I said, "There's nothing you can do." And this was in senior year, at the beginning of senior year. He said, "Well, you can try to get all A's." So I got all A's, man, because let me tell you,
man,
I went to St. Agnes High School for boys on East 44th in Midtown Manhattan. I went to the HU campus and saw all those women on Georgia Avenue. I said, "That's where I'm going. I don't care what anybody." And I think that having the graffiti writer's mentality, I said, well, that's not that hard to get all A's. I really wasn't inspired previously. I was a summer
right.
school king, driving my mother crazy. But yeah, okay, I can do it. Kind of,
You literally got all A's in your senior year because that's how bad you wanted to go to Howard
oh
University in
yeah.
Washington, D.C.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
without
Okay.
question. And that
Right.
goes along in the same aspect of when you are doing a mission on maybe riding trains, right? You may be getting chased and having to go under a train for about an hour or two. And I've had I've had some,
Have you had rats
episodes.
crawl? Have you had rats crawl on you?
Not too many rats, but
Okay,
definitely sludge and dirt and one time I was in one of those places and there was a long ladder, right, that you had to go down to get to where the trains are parked in the
in
subway
the
tunnel.
subway. Yeah.
And so one of the transit workers felt it was a good idea to defecate on such ladder. And as I was going down, I stepped right into it. I mean, the amount of stories and the amount of
We could go. We talk about
oh,
going down a
oh, oh.
hole.
But I
So
knew always in the back of my head, I would have to explain to my father, born in Haiti, that I was, caught for writing graffiti. So that wasn't an option
right. So
at
so
all.
so I only want to bring that up because it speaks to your perseverance. I want to bring up and I want to rely on those hip hop stories. And we're going to go past graffiti, but because it speaks to your perseverance, your determination, and you that was translated into you getting into Howard your senior year, all
I
A's.
stuck it. Yes.
Yeah, right. So let's show this picture of you and one of our producers, and Mayor Raz Baraka and Chuck Webb, who was a friend of the show as well. I just needed this to be on the screen because I had never seen this. So on the far left, if you're
So
watching, that's
I'm
Charles
in
Webb.
the California Angels cap, tilted to the side. To the left of me is my dear friend Charles Webb from New Orleans, who is a pastor now. This picture is in May 1987. That's a Mercury Sable that my mom rented to pick me up from Meridian Hill Hall. And to the right of me is Mr. Kevin Williams with a probably
Tam
freshly acquired medical Howard University hospital scrub that he
and
took,
the Tam.
and the TAM from Black Nia Force, our organization at Howard University for Black students. And then to the right of Mr. Williams it looks kind of like Mayor Ras Baraka, who was reaching in my mother's car, probably trying to do something. But
Right.
this
That
picture
is
means a
very
lot
much.
to me. And I'm
Yeah.
so proud of all the individuals there. It really speaks to, Drake and Future had a album called "What a Time to Be Alive." That right there, is what a time to be alive. The end of my sophomore year.
Yeah.
We're all classmates, and we're still
Yeah.
here to.
We're still vibing. We
We're
had Raz.
still bombing, still doing stuff.
I know, right?
Yeah,
We did. Yeah.
Mayor Baraka's doing stuff big time in
Yeah.
Newark. Very
Yeah,
happy.
our ascending family will remember that we had the mayor, who we lovingly call Raz, on the show. He was like episode number 4, like this time last year. I had to show that because I had to, as much as I love nostalgia and pictures, I was like, oh my God, look at y'all.
Yeah.
Almost
So
40 years
one
ago.
thing about being a graffiti writer in that time, uh, and there was a really prolific book called Subway Art by Henry Chalfant. It helped us try to document what was done, not only by yourselves, but by
Yeah.
others. I didn't document enough the amount of subway trains that were just, I mean, works of true art. I mean,
Uh-oh. I think we have him frozen again. Is that right? I need a verbal.
yeah, yeah. So
Oh, okay, you're back.
I'm
Lou, if
back.
I'm
I'm back.
ever over talking you, it's because there's a delay or something going on. So I don't ever mean to over talk, but we have a delay, with the camera thing. But you easily pivot. You pivot well. So I just wanted to let you know. Um,
With kindergarten and first grade kids talking over.
right, right, right.
It's
Let's
fine.
talk
Not a
about
problem.
from Howard, you went to the industry, right? We
Yes.
were so proud of you when you graduated in 90, and around that time, your friends and Black Force at Howard, whatever, we was like, yo, Lou is writing for the Source. And for those who don't know, the Source magazine was huge, huge, huge in hip hop culture in the early 90s. So tell us how you got to the Source, and give us one or two, give us one story that was like a big moment for you as a writer, as a journalist at the Source.
Summer semester. Uh, the
We
uh,
have
Once I came back to New York City in August, my mom said, "Well, you got to get a job, right?" So I was looking, trying to find work in the Department of Education, and became a substitute teacher. Subsequently, a good friend of mine from Howard University, Chris Wilder, was the managing editor at The Source. The Source at that time was really small.
I think Lou is frozen again. Guys, give me an audible. Is it me or him?
Yeah, he's out right now.
Okay, he's out of the studio.
No, he's frozen.
Okay. Um, so I know when he comes back, we'll jump right in and we'll talk about the Source magazine, but also Lou was the director, creative director for Black music at Universal Records. So we want to talk about that. And the reason why that's important is because
Uh,
so much. Oh, I
hey,
think he.
hey, I'm back. I don't
Hey,
know how much you heard. I was
not at
saying,
all.
oh, you didn't anything? Okay, so I'll say it again.
The
So
short version. Yes,
short version. So Chris Wilder, one of my
frozen again, right?
need to come down and see if I would be interested in writing in any capacity. I said, sure. I walked into 594 Broadway, and as soon as I walked through the door, I saw one of my old graffiti friends, Bones Malone, at the table. He was like, "What's up, Lou? You know, how you doing?" Bones was writing in the music industry for years previously. He was a journalist at Spin magazine. And maybe if we have enough time, I'll tell you my ascending moment that Bones was a big part of. And then to my right, when I looked, was Rob Reef Tulo, who is now the head of hip hop for Apple Music. But at the time, he was a music review editor at The Source. And he was also a graffiti writer that I knew. And so he got up and he said, "Hey, Akko, how you doing? The last time I saw you, you were acting crazy." And I was like, "Shut up, man. Like, keep quiet. Trying to get a job, man. Keep quiet." Right. So then Chris Wilder came from the back and he said, "Hey, Lou, how you doing?" So unbeknownst to me, the person that was looking at all of this was Jonathan Schechter, uh, who was the editor in chief of The Source. And he basically just came up to me and said, "Well, I guess you start right now." So that was my introduction of the Source magazine in 1990, November 1990. Uh, and it just led to, I mean, just a barrage of industry parties and exposure to music from all over the country and getting music early. So I started off as a record review journalist or reporter, and I was direct. You know, Reef, who was the editor, uh, was basically editing my reviews. He said you get $35 per review, which I thought was great. In 1990, I was like, wow. And then, you know, he said you get to review this music, this unreleased music. So imagine, you know, I got like maybe an assignment for the Cypress Hill debut album 3 months before it comes out. Leaders of the New School, all sorts of different Black Sheep album. You know, it was great. It was like
You,
finding a gold mine, right?
and that's how we saw it as your friends, right? For those who
Yeah,
graduated after you, like in 91, 92, or whatever, that's how we saw it. Like
it was it was
you've
great.
gone to the mountaintop.
I didn't I was like, I'm really getting paid for this, to interview all these people. Uh,
Yeah.
so
I no, I wanted people to understand the depth and how early and how early at the early stages of what some people now call the golden era of hip hop, the early stages, and you being, it's not just that you were at the parties, but you've developed some friendships with, and we have a couple of pictures of you with Front Max the Flex, and we showed that one, and we want to show you and De La Soul.
yep, yep,
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right here, and shout out to Garnett Reed, who I know is in this photo. You'll explain it, but I'm just going to share
sure.
my bias real quick. The only person I saw in here was Rakim. Everybody else disappeared, but that's you with De La Soul
Yes.
as
So
well.
that's part of the ascending moment. That picture.
Okay,
So that picture was taken on December 1988 at Tommy Boy Studios. My good friend Bones Malone took the picture, and that was a writing assignment that Bones was given. I kind of have to tell you the whole story. So I'm on
okay,
Christmas break from Howard, 1988. I get a phone call on the old rotary phone, and Bones says, "Lou Magoo, it's Bones Malone. I'm interviewing De La Soul tomorrow. You want to come through?" And so at the time, De La Soul had two singles out that were really popular in the country: Plug Tuning and Potholes in My Lawn. So I was like, yeah, of course, great, man. So I met up with him. We go to Tommy Boy Studios. My first real introduction to going to a record company. I want to be a fly on the wall. He was like, just sit down, whatever have you. I'll take care of everything. So we do the interview. We meet the three guys. They're great. And after the interview, they say, well, we're going to the studio later on. You want to come through? And so we were like, yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't say anything. He said, yeah, yeah, yeah. So maybe a couple hours later, we go to Calliope Studios, which was incredible studio in terms of who actually was using it at that time. De La Soul, Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, the tons of people. So this is all in Midtown Manhattan area. So we go in to the studio. Guess my ascending moment was when I walked into room A of Calliope Studios, and it's De La Soul doing the remix of Me, Myself, and I. Q-Tip is looking through a stack of records, trying to dig in the crates and coming up with sounds and beats and stuff. The Jungle Brothers are in there, and I just was elevated. You talk about a magical moment. I was like, this is crazy. So I'm like, this is the best thing ever. They did the remix. They, exchanged pleasantries with us, and blah blah blah. It's great, whatever have you. I forget to mention, when I was at Tommy Boy at the end of the interview, the publicist Laura Hines handed Bones and I two cassette tapes each. So I'm going home on the A train. It's probably about maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, this is the best night ever, ever. I get home. I'm tired, but I say, you know what? Let me listen to one of the tapes. So I put it in the record, the player. And although I'm tired, I hear some weird like organ music playing. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of strange. I'm listening, and then it's a PA announcer's voice. And I'm saying, wait a minute, is this the De La Soul album that hasn't come out yet? And it was. And so I listened
Wow.
to 3 Feet High and Rising, um, and classic album. I listened
Yeah.
to it twice. I didn't go to sleep. It was probably about 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, I'm going directly to Fulton Street, where the vendors would be selling the tapes, cassette tapes, TDK tapes, and whatever have you. And I bought a stack of 12 or whatever have you, and
Blank ones.
proceeded to dub all
Right.
12 of those tapes and then bring it back to Howard University the next couple of days and blessed my brothers, as I would say, in my Lu-Fi crew, Kevin Williams, Aaron Lloyd, with those tapes of De La Soul's album.
So
So I
y'all
wasn't
had
really
it before
bootlegging.
anybody. You wasn't bootlegging
I
because
wasn't
you gave it
bootlegging,
to.
right? I didn't sell it, but I had to bless those people at Howard
Wow.
that were, hip hop heads
Wow.
like I was.
Yeah, this show right here is for pure hip hop heads, for real, right? So everybody tell your people because we got a little bit more to go, but these are the kinds of breaking through moments, right? Those things that just get you in your soul. So I really appreciate. I didn't know this story, and you know what? I was trying to find. Talk about digging in the crates. I was trying to find the thing I have of you and Pete Rock.
Oh
I have a
yes, yes,
picture that I meant
yes,
to find it so we can show it. It's you and I
yes.
think
I
Aaron
mean,
and Pete Rock. I mean, just I only say that because your proximity to greatness, in addition to your own greatness, is something that is like, like really like a wow moment. You know what I mean? For
well,
pure hip hop heads.
I got to tell you, April, I've been very blessed and a lot lucky, not a little lucky. Um, and I always try to be somewhat humble. Sometimes it didn't work. Sometimes I thought, oh yeah, I might be the man or whatever have you. But it's good to have brothers like Aaron Lloyd and Kevin Williams that will say, hey, we knew you when, man.
Bring it
Like, get
down a
out of
notch.
here.
Bring it
Right.
down.
Right. You didn't have any girlfriend when you came to Howard. Let's settle down, man.
Right. Now
Um,
you're happily married with 2 children.
hey, listen,
We'll get
listen.
into that. We'll get
It,
into that.
it,
Yes.
it's a beautiful life. As Nas
Yeah.
said, one of his album titles, "Life is Good." Um,
Yeah.
but I just, you know, again, what a time to be alive with what, as I call it, creative rebellious expression. Um,
And this is a good segue, Lou, if I may, because we could really go on. But how did you tell us succinctly from the source and the right, and then you're forming friendships and connections with like royalty within hip hop culture, right? And then you land up at Universal Records.
so
What?
before Universal Records, I was offered a job at Arista Records, and that was through Chris Wilder. Again, I have to give him his props. That brother definitely helped me as well as so many other Howardites. But Chris Wilder was offered a job at Arista Records as a copywriter. He said, I don't necessarily want it because I'm going to take a full-time job at Sony Records as a copywriter. Do you want to go to the interview? I said, sure. Of course, at the time, Arista Records was just about to distribute Bad Boy Records, which had a pretty up and coming artist called the Notorious B.I.G., Biggie
I
Smalls.
saw just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, little
So,
something.
long story, a lot shorter. A couple of months previously, I had done his first cover story for Rap Pages magazine. That was in February 1994. And the album that he came out with, Ready to Die, was unreleased. It was supposed to be on Uptown Records. They, had a change in business direction and were now going to be distributed through Arista Records. So it was at a great time where I was offered this position. The person that interviewed me, Ken Levy, who was the vice president of creative services at Arista, said, "Oh, you did this cover story on him already?" And I was like, "Yeah, luckily enough." And he was like, "And you know Puffy?" And I said, "Yeah, I went to school with him." So he actually called him, and Puff gave the okay, which I was happy about. And I got that job. Through working at that job, I was working on projects not only like Big, Craig Mack, Faith Evans, the Big Mac campaign. I want to say a shout out to my brother, fallen brother Chimo Du, who actually took this picture. And he actually took so many prolific pictures. These images will last forever. So I was a part of this campaign and wrote the copy
Right.
for this Billboard
Can I
magazine
can
advertising.
I can I pause you for a second because I
Sure,
don't want us to be presumptuous before we get into the Rakim connection. Before we
sure.
do that,
Hmm.
um, just really correct me if I'm wrong. As creative services,
Right,
you are writing the language, the words for ads.
right.
You are
So print
you are
advertising,
mhm,
radio advertising, and television advertising.
right. So it's your understanding, your mindset, your take on hip hop culture and the vibe of the day is what's showing up in the ads. The things that
Yeah,
we were looking at, the billboards, all those things, you were directing all of that. That was your responsibility.
yeah, I had the pleasure to do it. And it also, from that vantage point, I was able to rely on the graffiti experience with the terminology and maybe the phrasing, the expressions, and it kind of blended into that.
Yeah.
Uh, and also, from just a graffiti writer's mentality, now my work is being placed on, TV screens
Yeah.
on BET,
You're
right?
being known.
So yeah, like I'm here, I'm there, like, and not saying that it's not the artist, because of
Of
course
course.
that's the main entity. I'm promoting this art, whether it was, Big's first record or whomever,
Yeah.
but I'm a part of it, and it just kind of blended naturally.
Right. I
Yeah,
want to so these are good things to know in terms of the task, right? It's good they're good things to know in terms of the timeline. We're gonna go to Rakim because I want people to know, that connection.
sure.
But then I would like you to give me your perspective really succinctly, right? Because your perspective on because you're so embedded in hip hop, I
Hmm.
do want your perspective on the lack of creative rebellious expression, one could say, in 2026. So that's a setup so you can start thinking about that. But
Got it.
first,
Hmm.
first, I'm gonna ask my producers because I didn't know this until we were preparing for the show. Rakim, the God, uh,
Sure.
just play it, guys. Just play it, and then we'll explain on the other side.
Back.
I think what I'm
What are you giving them back?
I think what I'm giving them back, man, is what they've been waiting for. You know what I mean? Skills.
Right. So that's the 18th letter, one of my favorite of Rakim's in his
Definitely.
in his
That's the
master.
beginning
So,
of
so
the album.
right, that's the beginning of the album. So I didn't know that you were the voice
A lot of
asking
people don't know
Rakim
I'm
the
the voice.
question, what are you giving them? Right. I didn't know that until we were prepping for the show, right?
Sure.
Um, did you ever get the chance to like meet, talk, whatever vibe with the God?
Oh yeah. So that particular you know, aspect of the beginning of the album was from an interview. Of course, Rakim was signed to Universal Records, which I started working for after I left Arista Records. And that was an assignment that I had with just interviewing Ra. And then it was the idea of the A&R of Universal Records at the time, Dino DeValier, that he was going to take part of that conversation and put it on the beginning of the record. I didn't know he was going to do that.
Right.
And ultimately, I was really happy that he did. And so that was it in terms of my, being on the album. I don't think that even Rod first knew that he was going to do it,
Right.
but
That was
he
going to
went
be a
along. He
part.
went
Right.
along with it. And so I
Right.
have to thank the president of Black Music and a mentor of mine, Gene Riggins, for allowing me the opportunity to leave Arista Records and then become creative director of Black music at Universal Records. It was
Right.
her doing. I was lucky enough that I wasn't a full-time employee of Arista. So when she went from Arista Records to Universal, she brought me along in 1996. And I was able to do that for the next 3 years before forming my
Right.
own company.
I
But
think
Gene
that Scribble
Riggins, I
Scrabble
mean,
was your
incredible.
creative writing company, Scribble Scrabble. I still have the
Yes,
business card
yes.
as well.
I was,
Yes.
I was doing a
I was
lot, and media, and again, you're surrounded by creative forces like Erica Badu, Heavy D,
rest in
Big,
peace.
all these giants, all these people, Graham Puba, I've interviewed for Rap Pages, right? So all these type of entities that have creative juices just oozing out of their beings, I had to pick up, slang like monkey hustle and then say, oh yeah, that'd be a nice name for a company of mine, Monkey Hustle Media. Your Grand Pooba basically was talking like that and said,
Right.
yeah, you're getting your Monkey Hustle on. I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
So
But shout
Lou,
out to
as
him and so many other people.
and so many others. I love your natural
Okay.
tendency to give people their flowers by shouting out their names. And like I said a moment ago, like your life is a rich one. This is a picture for those who are listening and not watching. This is a picture of Lou and Erica Badu in the early stages. But
Yep.
Lou, beyond the timeline, beyond the data and the dates and the job titles and all those different kinds of things, you're embedded. You have the soul of a hip hop head for real, for real. Give us your take on what you remember from 81 as a graph writer and then now. Oh, and the question is the lack of, what did you say, creative,
Creative
rather
rebellious expression.
rebellion. Yes.
I would say that back then, riding on trains, spinning your back on some cardboard, that was your creative rebellious expression, right? That was an outlet, for all the things that were going on in your life, good, bad, ugly, and you express yourself that way. I was talking to a colleague of mine in the Board of Education some years ago, maybe about 7 years ago, and he was young, maybe 25 years old. I said, well, what's their creative rebellious expression? What are y'all on now? And he said, well, it's the internet. And I was saying, well, you don't really own the internet. You can't really control that. He said, yeah, but this is ours. This is ours. So I was trying to, make the connection and not really seem like an old fogey, right? I turned 58 in May. I'm a 68 baby. So I may not be able to get it, but I hope that they just have that amount of creative rebellious expression because it garners so much, and especially now in these times. I mean, sometimes, we think like the way things are going, we're in the twilight zone, man.
Yeah.
But you, I, I fear that a lot of the youth are not, they're geared towards maybe the collective instead of what's in the individual, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And oh wow, somebody
We
wrote,
do
"What's
have
your
a
favorite
question.
artist to meet?"
Yeah, we do have a question. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, there's so many, man. Old Dirty. Old Dirty was one
Oh,
of them.
Dirty Bastard.
That was,
Okay.
if maybe not the favorite artist to meet, Old Dirty Bastard's interview was quite the eye-opening one. Just, you know,
It was off the top. It was like he was
off off
crazy about it.
off
He
the
was just
wall,
like,
off
what?
the wall,
Right.
off the wall. Cooley
Okay.
from Ultramagnetic comes in.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
I want to close out, Lou. You did your ascending moment, right? You did your
yeah.
ascending moment, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to ask you, just to tie in from the alleys to the boardroom, right?
Hmm.
In your case, from the subway cars running from the police, to the C-suite and corporate entertainment. No pun intended, but universally speaking,
Sure.
um, is hip hop going to be okay, given that trajectory, in your opinion?
I don't know if hip hop's gonna be, well. Hip hop being okay. It depends how you term okay. Again, the '70s weren't necessarily an okay time. I'm taken back to the Bronx is burning, right? But it's still there. I think that there'll be aspects of hip hop culture that will remain for hundreds of years. Again, it goes just beyond New York City or New York State or the 50 states. I mean, you're talking about international. I'm bringing up Rakim, a story about Rakim. I remember a good friend of mine, Scott Free, who was A&R for Loud Records, actually seeing European kids crying because Rakim wasn't going to be performing as scheduled at a festival there in 1998, like
Wow.
crying, like grown men crying,
Sobbing and
like
heaving.
the God's not going to be here. And they started crying. He was like, Lou, it was wild.
Wow.
So that, whether it's going to be okay, I think it's at times it fluctuates, right? Maybe it's not
Right.
okay. Maybe it's really good. Now, is that driven by record sales, by popularity? It isn't necessarily the hip hop quote unquote music isn't outselling genres like the Spanish artists right now, like reggaeton and along those lines. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna be okay. So I guess
So the
hip hop's
culture's
gonna
going to
be
be
okay.
okay. The culture's going to be okay.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's going to be the same, though. I mean, you know, sure, the images and the aspect of it are going to remain. Of course, those images that you were showing before from the early 1980s, but like actually doing it and feeling it, and yeah, it's going to be what it is in a
Yeah.
weird explanation, you
No,
know.
I got you. As long as we're okay and we stay elevated and we can decide, tell me if you agree, if we can decide to do more than tits and ass and party and bullshit, you know what I mean?
Right.
If we can make sure that the music and the culture and all the aspects are medicinal for us, like we need medicine.
Oh
So I
yeah,
think if we can
yeah.
recognize that, maybe we have more artists. Does that make sense to you?
It
I
does
mean,
make sense. I
okay.
will. I can't be a hypocrite about it.
Mm.
That aspect of the aspiration and with the partying and bullshit and all that stuff, that came from my generation. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
it,
yeah, for
right?
sure.
So, like, it was kind of diverted from potentially the aspect of, okay, well, I'm going to have my tam on, my black medallions, and no gold to gold crystal bottles, and you know, and I look at it now to a degree because I'm in education and I work with kindergarten through fifth graders, and I see their parents, and I say, wow, like this might be a parent that was conceived in one of those pop your bottles of Cristal nights at the Tunnel
Likely,
nightclub.
likely, right?
You know what I
Likely.
mean? And then
Yeah.
like I see the effect of that. So It gives me pause at times, but
Right.
it is what it is. Have to
Yeah.
work through it.
I think we're gonna be all right. And then the moment of correction, party and bullshit is actually from the Last Poets.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No,
They,
just I was just remembering as you were talking because at first I was like, yeah, and I was like, wait a minute, you know, Last Poets.
yeah,
Well, wait, so
yep,
let's
yep.
do this. I'm glad you mentioned that you're a guidance counselor now with New York City Department of Education. You went on to get your master's degree. You are shaping minds. So on that note, I want to make sure that we get some of the people before you go and go into the other segment. I want to remind people we still got a big segment to come, right? Everybody after Lou, we're going to do a memoriam about Maritri, beloved sister. We're going to have a special guest come on because she recently passed. So we wanted to give the right time and tone and vibe. So we didn't want to do that in the beginning. We wanted to give appropriate space, if there's such a thing as appropriate space when you're grieving. But before we do that, to shout out some of the comments. Reggie Jacks, who's a regular, says Basquiat was a graffiti writer for sure. Just sharing some of the started comments, family. Be sure to tell people you can still watch every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tell people to sign on now. But that's Timothy D. Jones. He says Graffiti Pier in Philadelphia is an iconic landmark where people can go and freely write today. Didn't know that. Thank you, Tim, for sharing that. And you know, Lou, Tim was on the show.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, yeah. So we had a good time.
definitely.
And he says again, he has another comment that says, like a graffiti writer underground, his signal is going in and out. This is this is when you were going in and out. Funny, funny, funny. Rolando says, "Wow, that sucks. I wonder what this was about. I feel like if you were born then and you call it home, and on behalf of LA, we will gladly take you if you don't want if they don't want you, April." Oh man, we should have did that comment in real time. I don't remember what that one was about, but whatever Rolando says is fine by me. But thank you for always having me, Rolando.
Yes, yes.
And
It,
go
can,
ahead.
oh, I just wanted to say before I leave, it's been
Uh-huh.
a pleasure. I really wanted to shout out because you were talking about paying homage to a fallen person.
Yeah.
Power from Wu-Tang Clan, a
Yes.
brother that I got to meet, and was beyond kind to me. I wanted to send prayers and condolences to his family. Also, Lord Sear, a friend of mine through Curious George, and his brother Cotty. I met those brothers early in probably 1990 when I first started writing for the Source magazine. So I wanted to
Wow.
just say, big up to them, and their legacies will be strong legacies. Uh,
Right.
Power. If I could tell a quick story about Power,
Floor's yours. Floor's yours,
I
my friend.
was I was interviewing Raekwon for Rap Pages magazine, and Power is at the shoot where it was a photo shoot, and he came up to me. Power, of course, if people don't know, is the brainchild behind Wu-Tang Clan, and really like the catalyst. Power, Divine, and RZA. Those were the guys. So Power came up to me and he started a conversation. And I said, yeah, I was recently at Universal Records. Now I have my own thing. And he said, well, you think you can get me a meeting at Universal Records for Ray? Because, we're kind of moving and trying to get a new deal. And I said, you're Power from Wu-Tang Clan. You don't need me. You can go up there yourself. And lo and behold, maybe about
Wow.
9 months later, I,
Wow.
am here and I'm like, oh, Ray's on Universal Records now. And
Wow.
so, sometimes people would say, well, you didn't take advantage of situations where you could have financially benefited from that. But in my heart, I said, no, he doesn't need me. Just go up and talk to them and they'll give you the deal, which they did. So big up to that brother, and Raekwon. I want to say this, it might be a real like it's not insignificant. When I was
Okay.
at the interview, I was wearing Minnesota Vikings authentic football jersey, and it was white and like a regal purple. And Raekwon came up to me and was like, "Yo, purple's a royal color, God." He was like, "You rocking with that?" And I was like, "Thanks, man." And I just wanted to say that being kind to others and giving compliments and homage or homage, as Americans would say, is not a bad thing. It's a needed thing. And it's something that we really should be looking towards as we are in a digital age of not really, or as I would say to some of my students, you all are majoring in nonverbal expression, right? And communication. Yeah.
Right. That's real. That's real. Yeah.
It's real. When I was in Howard, I would go to Kemp Mill Records with good friend of mine, Kevin, and we look at the album covers and read the liner notes and read the back cover, who produced what, for hours, and then maybe buy something if we had enough money to buy a record. Now it's all digital, right? So, and remembering the telephone, I still know the telephone numbers of all my graffiti friends from 1984. Right? It's here now. I don't know what I did yesterday, but I'm saying that when you ask a kid, "Hey, all right, give me your mother's number," I need my cell phone. Ooh, right? So
yeah.
anyway,
but Lou, I think you touch on something, and this is why, not to get sappy, but the spirit of who you are, the essence of who you are, is a real, genuine, kind, loving person. Human, yes. So you have flaws, of course, but that's needless to say, because the thing that's most outstanding about you is your kindness, right? Is your creativity, is just the good that you bring into the world, the way that you open doors for other people. I'm so glad you told that story, right? Because there are other people given that opportunity would have been like, would have caked off of that. You know what I mean? In terms of getting somebody a whole freaking, record deal or whatever. But you think beyond the material, I think might be fair to say. And so we appreciate your kindness and your maturity and what you have done for the culture. And I'm just so happy that you could come on here and bring some of those stories to life, because this is going to live on the YouTube playlist. People can always come back.
You know how us Geminis do, April, right?
I know.
Big
You're a big
rock,
Gemini.
bam, bam. Gemini.
You're a big Gemini. Yes. Yes.
So.
And 68 babies on top of that.
That's right. That's right. We still here.
We're still here. Oh my God.
You never know, April. I might, bring you to a subway tunnel.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You never know. We'll always take you back.
Yeah. Take me there and make sure I get out. Take me there and make sure I get out, because I don't want to be stepping over shit.
My knees would disagree. I'd be lucky if I can run down the block. I have a 7-month-old and a 14-year-old. Beautiful queens, and I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you're closing out in that way, because I was going to say shout out to your wife, your 2 daughters. I know you're doing an amazing job as a family. Yeah. As a father, is what I wanted to say. Wait, we have a comment on the screen. I was on some of those ventures with Lou and always wondered, how did I wind up here? For instance, I took that picture of Rakim and Funk Flex. Wow. So that's dope.
He's not lying. D&D Studios. 1998.
And shout out to Lou Fi. You have a whole, okay, we got to end this, but I'm gonna say this part right here, and this may be the perfect ending as we go in this segment, right? Lou Fi, you have a whole fraternity named after you, a whole independent fraternity of brothers, or this brotherhood that's called Lou Fi. The Lou is the Lou and Louis Romaine. Started at Howard University, I guess, when y'all were like freshmen. But I just want
Freshman,
to shout
yeah.
out to Lou Fi, because that brotherhood, man, that
1986, year of the WAP.
1986. Wow.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
brotherhood
40,
of
40
which,
years ago this August,
yeah, yeah,
August 9th, 1986. And and
yeah,
I and I have to say that there are 13, 14 of us. One that's in the essence, Jason Virgil, he passed away a couple of years
yes.
ago. I have to give
Rest
him
in
a
peace.
shout out. But I'm nothing without them. I'm not the same type of person that went on to do what he did these past 40 years without those guys. And although my mom, being my mom, would tell me at times, those are clean cut, all American boys. And I'd laugh and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would laugh
Because
too.
I'm like, man, I don't know about that. But in retrospect, what she meant, I have to kind of agree with, was that although we could be wild, we weren't out the window wild. And I'm glad for that. And, those guys are doing great things in different parts of the country and world. And I'm proud of them. And I'm just, not even guys that are in that crew of Lu-Fi. But like I said, Mayor Ras Baraka, if you would have told me when he was reaching in my mother's rent a car
In
that
the
this
car.
guy would
Right.
be mayor of Newark, New Jersey for what's it, 10, 12 years now. I would have said, what
Not
have
that
you
guy.
what have you been inhaling? Right. But anyway,
Right.
yeah, but the
No,
Lu-Fi guys, I'm nothing without them.
it's a wonderful brotherhood, and I love the way that you all hold each other accountable, the way that you push up on each other for, again, accountability, and show up is what I meant to say. Show up for each other. So shout out to everybody and the wives who are
That's right.
affiliated who put up with all of y'all.
A lot of stuff.
So,
As you see the images on my bookshelf of Big and all this other stuff and Ghostface
yeah,
Killers and
yeah.
the graffiti. Those albums are like graffiti albums. I have like
Wow,
a lot,
that's a lot.
a lot.
Lou, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you were able to do this and to join us. And this is one for the books. This is an episode of Ascending that people will need to refer when they do their thesis or whatever, or just want to learn some of those backstories. So we thank you for being the historian that you are,
Thank
which
you
is
so
a
much.
Gemini trait, for real, for real. So it's hard to say goodbye, so I'll just say so long. And just know that I love you much. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for who you
Right
be.
back at you.
Yes. All right, Lou. Give my love to the family. Wow. So that was fun. That was fun. I'm so grateful for this position that I have, and I think that on that note, I want to tell people to stay. Stay. If you thought that was enriching and so satisfying, then I want to let you know that we're going to do a special in memoriam. Guys, I need one of you all to come. Drake, I'm going to ask you, are we doing in memoriam now, or are we doing the good news report and all that stuff? I forgot. I'm sorry.
We're going to do the good news report, and then we're going to
Oh,
spend time on the in memoriam.
okay, thank you. So the good news report, that's a segment that we have. I want to remind you that the National Black Writers Conference, for those of you who are readers and writers of Black literature, you have an opportunity, you have time to get yourself to Brooklyn, March 25th through the 28th of this month at Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, which is part of the CUNY system. The Center for Black Literature will be hosting live and in person the 18th National Black Writers Conference. Guess who's coming? On the opening night, on that Wednesday, March 25th, we have, which one we're going to show? Well, I'll tell you. We have Nicole
Give
Hannah
me a minute.
Jones.
It's coming. Give me a minute.
Okay, we have Nicole Hannah Jones and Michael Harriet, who's going to be the featured speakers in conversation with each other. That program is going to be moderated by Dr. Brenda Green, who founded the Center for Black Literature at Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. When I tell you that the fees for this conference, be it solo days or whatever, are so nominal, it's like the cost of lunch, right? So if you are interested in Black writers and Black writings, and you want to go to the workshops and you want to learn how to get a book deal and you want to network with people who write, people who think Black literature from a number of different angles, like this is the place to be. This conference was founded in 1986. And for a number of years, it was annual. There was a pause, but since 1986. So now, obviously, that's more than 18 years ago. So what we're counting here is the 18th National Black Writers Conference, even though the conference was founded by John Oliver Killens in Brooklyn at Medgar Evers College. There's no better place for you to be during any one of those or all of those days. Nicole Hannah Jones is coming um, March 25th. For those who are not watching her pictures on the screen, Nicole Hannah Jones from the 1619 Project and the award-winning journalist Michael Harriot, an author, is going to be there as well. That conversation will be moderated by um, Dr. Brenda Green, who founded the center some 20 something years ago. Go to the Center for Black Literature.org to get all of the panel information. I'm going to say it slowly if you want to write it down. Center for Black Literature.org. That is the website. I don't know if we have it on the screen or if we can put it on the screen. We'll remind you. But that's the good news report.
It's in the chat. The
It's
link
in
is
the
in the
chat.
chat.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. But go there and register. Register. Do we have another show? We have another show before that conference. I'm gonna see if I can get some comps for those who are gonna be in the area. Not I'm gonna see. I will give you a way to go as a guest of Ascending. But you have to tune in next week. You have to tune in on the March 21st show. I will talk about the ways that one can go if you are a subscriber to this channel and you watch this show. Shout out to everybody at the Center for Black Literature. You all may know I was there for 20 something years as a consultant, running their PR department or working in marketing in some capacity. No longer there officially, but never disconnected in my heart. So that is the good news report. Let me shift gears. We'll keep this upbeat because we're about to celebrate someone who you've seen on Ascending. Maritri Garrett passed away just a couple of days ago. I'm sorry to say. And I'm only sharing this now because the family just less than 24 hours ago announced this sad news. Uh, Again, within the past couple of hours. When I pulled this screenshot that you're looking at on the screen, if you're watching this morning, it was 10 hours ago, right? So that's why I said less than 24 hours ago. Maritri Garrett, what, gosh, I don't even, the words don't, none of the words that I'm about to say do her justice, but she was a music. She was a kind-hearted soul. She was wonderful. She was intelligent. She was beautiful. And music is what she lived and breathed. I think her first instrument was piano. We're going to bring on Mo Beasley in just a moment um, to find, so you could tell us some stories about what she did with the guitar that, which was, not her primary instrument, but mastered that in such a short period of time. You might remember that Maritri was on the show here just a couple of months ago when we were talking on independent Black music. She was on with Darryl McNeil from the Black Rock Coalition. She was on with Chris Owens or Chris Old Dude. And we had a blast. The whole thing was about independent Black music. I wanted the independent artists to talk about their life and their journey and what does it mean to create and work and live outside of a corporate music structure or corporate entertainment structure. And we had a blast. Go back and look at the playlist for this show on Marc Lamont Hill Network. There's a playlist for every single episode. Every show that we've done is archived there, and you'll see Maritri's beautiful face on the graphic. But beyond that, like Maritri, I met her through Mo Beasley, the guest that we're about to bring on in just a second. I met her some 30 something years ago, and there's not anything I've ever asked of Maritri that she didn't do. She was a Howard grad as well. I did not know her at Howard University, but I just know her as a wonderful human being and like deeply talented, and impacted so many people's lives. And through her, I met David Pilgrim and a number of different people from Soul Folk Experience. Um, and so I only know like the last 30 years or whatever, and her work and the work that we did on Mo Beasley's Urban Erotica when I used to produce that show. But it is that collaboration that enriched my life. Yeah. Okay. So let me just bring on Mo. I want you all to tell people to watch or watch later. So we have not Mo. We have the empty chair. Oh, I'm gonna tease the guys about that. Was fun to see. So
We
we'll
still
take
got
Lou. We still got the chair. Oh, we're gonna have an amazing, funny post
yeah.
production meeting.
We should bring Lou back in.
I know, right? We need to bring Lou back in. That maybe that's what that was. For all the mistakes I ever made on the show, that one trumps all the other ones. But I'm just zoning in on the humor. I'm just because I want to keep the vibe as light and funny as possible. But my guys are amazing. I get to tease them, but they're amazing.
Yes, they
But what
are.
a segue, right? Let's talk. Let's lean into the light, right? Mo, just a couple of hours ago, I asked you to come on the show to talk about Maritri just because we can, right? Because I have this opportunity, and so many of the people in this world know Maritri because of you, or they know of, or they know of the collaboration. And I'll be honest and say, when I called you just to check on you, and I had this idea for you to come on the show, you were not in a good space. Um, because this is hard. And like I said before, and I'll shut up and turn it over to you. None of us are good right now. This was unexpected. This was sudden, and let me offer my condolences to her family, to those who love her. I should have started with that because my heart is pouring out. But very specifically, I wanted to talk to you. Can you, as best you can, with this raw nerve, um, can you try to put Maritri in her proper context for those who don't know?
She was she was a superstar. She is she is a superstar. And if you don't know her, for the people I say that when I try to explain it, I said she was a superstar. And if you didn't know her, I'm sorry because you missed the light. And I beg you to go listen to her music. And thankfully, for modern technology, you can watch her brilliance and you can catch a little bit of the light. But you had to know her to know that she was light incarnate, walking, and and not an angel, because that was mine. That was she was she was a G. She was a G, and she got away with a lot because she was so damn pretty. But she was light walking because she just wouldn't allow darkness to permeate any space she was in. She wouldn't allow mediocrity to hang out anywhere. Fear had no place to hang out in Maritri's presence, and she was about that. She was an absolute, complete, consummate artist from the time she was a child. She started playing piano at the age of 3. Her daddy was a jazz musician, and he raised her in the music, and he taught her to play the standards. She was also classically trained. By the time I met her as a freshman at Howard University, she was already a badass singer. She had already been a Fisk Jubilee singer. Tried to go to pre-med school, because her mama wanted her to do something safe and sure, and her daddy was, just secretly just feeding the artist in her, and it came through. She's a girl. She's a girl dad, first and foremost, man. Like, who is she? A girl dad, and that's um, she's a daddy's girl, um, and I'm a girl dad. So I guess part of what bounded us even before then was, yeah, well, but when I met her, I was already a father to my oldest, Tykara. So, and maybe that's what it was, because you see, she's so stunningly beautiful. People would see her and just be intimidated often. And once you got to know her, like, well, instantly we just vibed as like brother and sister, like dudes, and like brother and sister, because her dad taught her to be a jazz musician. So she showed up in spaces where guys would underestimate her because she was so pretty and she could sing, and like, oh, you just a singer. And they would make the mistake and walk away from their gear in a sound check, and she'd get on that piano, or she and like wreck it and do things they had never done, could do with it, and show them how to do it, because she was a master of her craft. That's it. She was a master of her craft. She was committed to her craft over everything. Over everything, she was committed to her craft and her song and the music. And she knew she had music to get out. And she got it out. She got it out. And she was a little, like I said, not a little, she was a gangster about it, because everyone she met was about how we getting music out. And if there's music in you, if there's a song in you, if there's a story in you, if there's an art in you, and you in her space, and you trying to be in the shadow with it, not be fully realized in it, she gonna smell it and she gonna pull it out, and you gonna have to step up. You couldn't hang out in the space and be half-ass. Did I answer your question?
You did. As you're talking, I'm thinking of the different scenarios, and which that she and I were able to, I won't say collaborate, well, I just got to be in her presence, right? All the
We
things
did Urban
about.
Erotica together.
No, I
We
know. I
collaborated.
mentioned when I was producing your Urban Erotica, Mo Beasley's Urban Erotica in Brooklyn, the monthly showcase. That's how I met her. I didn't know her at Howard. I didn't know you at Howard. You know what I mean? And the collaboration and the music, the independent music that you put out, right? You were better as a poet because of Maritri as a musician. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my God. Yes.
So,
When we
and go ahead. I'm sorry.
Maritri and I, when we were in school, I remember us being in the practice rooms at Howard University, the College of Fine Arts, in the same practice rooms that Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway were in, making magic. And I said, when I grow up, she was practicing the piano and I was working on a script for a class or something, or a show. I think we were doing I think I was in a soldier's play. And I said, when I grow up, I'm going to produce shows just so I can put your music in it. And she was like, bet, call me when it's time. We graduate, we lose track of each other for about a decade, and we reconnect by an ex who heard me talk about this sister I was in school with that I just knew I was destined to create with, and she ran into her and was like, "Do you know Mo Beasley?" And she was like, where that at? where that Negro at? And gave me my number, and by that point I was working behind the scenes as a stage manager on Broadway, Blue Man Group. I decided to be a producer because I was like, I didn't want to pay the dues as an actor to be thug number one, rapist number two, drug dealer three. And but when we reconnected, she was just like, I don't know what any of those other things mean, but I know you are a performer and you are a storyteller. So open your book. And I read a poem and she played a song. And as I listened to the song, I dropped an answer to it in poem, and then she answered that poem in song, and I answered it back, and we went, and it was a call and response, and organically, intuitively, we had picked up where we left off, like we'd never been separated. And shows like Love Suites, Urban Erotica, No Good Nigga Blues, because that Negro I'm trying not to talk like we talk. I'm like that because she was like, you supposed to be doing this, do that, and
She pushed you. She pushed you.
she used to her group Hugh. Everybody shout out who knows Hugh. Put it in the chat. Shout out Hugh and
HUE.
HUE. Her soul folk trio with Shauna Tucker, Lisa Williams, and they were doing Soul Cafe in New York on was it 42nd and 8th or something. Malik Yoba's spot restaurant. You see the Best Man movie, the first Best Man, when they're in the restaurant, that's where Maritri would be. Her band would be every Sunday. And so I would start traveling with him every Sunday, and I'd start being like their roadie, setting up. And again, she wasn't having it. I set up the gear, helped them get ready. And then in the middle of her set, she'd be like, now I'm going to bring up on stage my boy Mo Beasley. I'm like, I ain't say, and I was,
I didn't say I was ready. And she was like, you
right.
ready.
Rusty as hell, but she was like, get up, let's go, like flex the muscle, yes. Hugh, somebody shouting out Hugh, and I want to shout out DJ Tillery James. I saw him last night. I'm in Miami. He moved here from Brooklyn like a year before I did, and we didn't know each other in Brooklyn, but I met him here, and we were doing a Malcolm X birthday party 2019 at the historic Hampton House, and someone said Brooklyn in the house, and so I looked at him. I said, Brooklyn, you Brooklyn? I don't know you. He said, I'm Brooklyn. You don't know you. I don't know you. And so we started dropping names. You know, Ian Friday. You know, Shelly Nicole. You know, Michelle Rayford. You know, like they was the Tea Party crew. You know, all this dropping these names. Like we know these people and everything. And then finally he goes, do you know Hugh? And I was like, do I know Hugh? I was like, do you know Hugh? Because I know Hugh from Howard University. You know from Brooklyn. That's the nucleus, man. I was there when Maritri first did that thing before she brought it to Brooklyn. Then he was like, so he got Shauna Tucker because I think he couldn't reach Maritri. Shauna Tucker was a cellist. I hope Shauna's in the chat. And he called. Shauna answered the phone on the FaceTime. He was like, who this nigga? She said, Mo Beasley. I was like, so don't play with me. Like Maritri's like, I knew this child before this lifetime. Like this my sister from like she would say we were two sides of the same coin. You know, that was her. That's how she, would describe us. And so like this is my in memoriam, because I see everybody in the chat who know Maritri from Tea Party, who know it from Soul Folk Experience. Shout out Soul Folk Experience. Like the
David Pilgrim.
The places, the Soul Folk Experience that they created, and I would tease them because they created it after Urban Erotica, and I was sitting with them. They would allow a poet to sit in with them, and I would look at them and go, it'd be like 24 musicians, like the hottest, dopest musicians in New York, Brooklyn in particular, and I'd be like, y'all like P-Funk without the drugs. And not that they were sober.
Without the coke, right?
I ain't trying to blow nobody up. Man, this is live. But I'm just like, but Maritri did that. Like she was this Pied Piper, man. Like she was this Pied Piper that just like she'd just be like, she would smell your genius, she would smell your gift and be like, nah, you ain't bringing it out enough. Like, no, come on. Let's go.
Right.
Oh my God. But she was, and I'm taking advantage of the space because I got this mic right now because we all gonna do a Maritri tribute festival.
Of course.
I'm claiming it right now. It ain't gonna be no memorial. It's gonna be a Maritri tribute festival. Darryl McNeil, Black Rock Coalition. Let's get it together. He called me the other day. We on the phone about we take for granted the time we have. We didn't spend enough time. I was like, man, dead that. Whatever time you spent with her was the time that you were supposed to spend. The thing you did with her was the thing you were supposed to do. Like it just, and she ain't gone. You know, I believe in that poem by Barack Joe. Those who have died have never left. The dead have a pact with the living. You know, It's the ancestors' voice and it's the ancestors' breath in the voice of the water. It's Maritri's breath in the voice of the rolling rock and the droning brook. It's Maritri's voice in the cloud. It's Maritri's voice in that bird. Maritri's voice is perennial. I'm trying not to, because you got me this morning, April Silver. You got me, y'all. I'm telling you now. I was good. I cried a little bit. I cussed a lot all week. I cried a little bit. I woke up this morning. All April Silver said was, "How you doing?" And and if Maritri was there, she would have said, "You cried like a little bitch." And so I was like I had to let it go, man. I was like, yo, that's my. And y'all saw my post on Facebook. Shout out to Nina Angela Mercer. She was one that texted me
She's in the
last night.
chat.
Nina,
She's in the
I
chat.
said, Nina, thank you, Nina.
Shout out to
I got a
Nina.
shout out. She was checking on me last night, and I'm listening, and I'm Kevin Powell. I know I'm shouting him out because he tagged me in this beautiful, eloquent tribute to Maritri, and I was like, fuck that. No, no, you accepting it. I'm not ready to, fuck you for trying to be ready to accept it. Forgive my language. I promise I wouldn't cuss, but I've been cussing all week. I was like, no, I ain't doing no eloquent, pretty shit, because my nigga is gone. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm angry because I'm like, how you in this space already? Like, how you okay enough to say something? Like, I'm ready to rage. I'm ready to scream. And Nina was like, whatever you got to do, do it. And I was like, a lot of people tagging me on Facebook, and God bless y'all, knowing how close we were. And I'm like, I feel responsible to say something. And I feel responsible to say something responsible. But I don't feel responsible. I just feel angry. And Nina was like, if that's what you feel, do it. Like, if you don't feel nothing, you don't owe nobody nothing. And then, so I went to bed, and then D'Angela, shout D'Angela out, because I was talking to D'Angela too, and she was like, if you do it, just go to sleep. Don't don't look at no posts, just go to sleep. It's like, just wake up in the morning and deal with it, because, you don't have to, however people receive it. And I'm old, and I'm shouting these because these are all just artists I love and contribute, Nina, D'Angela, then the Jerome's, J Square Jones. There's two people who I've collaborated the most in terms of creating original work. It was Maritri with Love Suites, Urban Erotica, and it was Jerome J Square Jones with Noga Nigga Blues. And he hit me up about 4:00 this morning, and I was telling him how I was feeling and raging. And he was just, he was, do what you need to do, say what you need to say. Those who love you will understand. Those who know how much you and Maritri loved each other will understand. And so, how man, I just want to scream, y'all. I just want to scream.
Let me ask. I'm sorry. It's raw. It's raw. It's new. It feels unfair. It feels wrong. Particularly because it was sudden, right?
Yeah.
That's the part that, like I said, I don't know how we're gonna be okay. You know what I mean? But particularly because it was sudden. And everybody that's in the chat, shout out to everybody in the chat, because everybody has their stories, like what you're saying, right? You can't have crossed paths with Maritri and not been impacted or forget. Maybe you might forget it intellectually, maybe, but in your heart, it's there. But I don't know anybody that was closer to her, and I've seen the magic between the two of you. I want you to take us. I want you to take us on a high note.
This is low.
No, a higher note. And I get to tease you because you need to stop all that moving around, because the feedback is coming through the mic, Mr. Stage Manager guy, or whatever the hell you do.
I'm talent right now.
You talent right now. Well, get your talent together and stop moving around.
Okay. My bad, fellas. My bad, Drake. My bad.
No, I'm doing that on purpose because I remember being in studios or rehearsals or whatever, and it was always a fun time. You know what I mean? The way we would gig on each other. But you told me two stories. And I found out from you the day it happened, right? I found out from you. And I kept quiet. Shout out to everybody who kept their mouth shut for the
Sorry,
past
y'all.
couple of days. Everybody. I was talking to Ghana. They shout out to Ghana, Imani Hilton, who Maritri used to perform in her basement on a regular basis. What was the name of the show? Huh?
Oh, Amani, a Dinker House. A
Yes,
Dinker House.
yes,
And the
yes.
dopest joint.
Independent music. This is what
Garden
independent
State.
music. You go into refurnished, you know, souped up basements in people's houses in the middle of New Jersey. You know what I mean? Not in the city, not in Brooklyn, not on, whatever. You just go do the music. You just go do the music of everybody. Shout out to everybody from the Dinker House. Shout out to Ghana. Oh, okay. Yes. I was like, is she here?
Somebody get Ghana in the chat, man. Somebody go.
Yeah, somebody bring Ghana in. But we were just talking, and the whole thing, and I had talked to Kevin, I talked to Daryl, I talked to Ghana, because I assumed they knew, and by the time I called them to check on them, they all knew. Kevin called to check on me. But my point is to say that this network did an excellent job of keeping their mouth shut until the
Yes.
family said so. The only reason we doing this because I checked on Facebook. I was like, is it okay? Because if not, we'll just wait till next week. And I saw that the
Yep.
family had the statement, which we showed on the screen a moment ago. But I mean, I think people of a certain character don't need to rush to tell the news. So I'm just honored to be amongst people. But I want you to tell two stories, if you would. The one about turning knobs and flipping lever, flipping. What? Tell the story. I'm not the storyteller. You know which one I'm talking about. When one of Maritri's girlfriends was like, "What the hell?"
No, is more than one of Maruchi's girlfriends. Another one of her siblings in the art.
Yes,
Shauna Tuck.
right.
So when I got the word from Nieta Opio Tignon, who goes way back to our Howard days, when she called me and I cussed her out and cussed Maritri out because I thought they were playing a prank. Knew they weren't. I knew Nieta wouldn't do that. And then once I got myself together and I called my baby girl Raina, and I was like a block from my crib, and I parked the car and I called and I said, "Daddy's not good. I said, Maritri just died." And she said, "Stay right there. I'm on my way." And my little 17-year-old came there to get me together. And I said, "I got to call two people real quick before this gets out, for some fool puts it on social media." And I said, "I got to call Shauna, and then I got to call Kari." And I only called my baby girl second because I know she might need me on the phone longer. But I called Shauna, and Shauna did know because Nieta had called her. But we just sat on the phone in silence, and then we cried, and then we laughed. We started telling stories. The last time we saw her, we were with her, and then she said, "You know what happened earlier today, Mo? I almost forgot." She said, "A butterfly flew in my face, and I kept shooing it away, and it just wouldn't go away." And she said, "It took a while. Finally, that butterfly left me alone." And she said, "I forgot all about that butterfly, Mo, until this moment, because I'm trying to get out of my driveway, and there's a turkey sitting in my driveway. And I've lived in North Carolina for decades now, and I've never seen a turkey in the driveway." And then we bust out laughing, and we said, "That bitch is up there turning knobs, pulling levers, pushing buttons. How this work? Do that? How?" Because everybody who knows Maritza is like, she's just gonna figure out how to make it work. And she's like, "Oh," and they like, there's an orientation, and we like, "You at the stage one, you just got here, just." And
You
Maritza's
just
like,
you
"Oh,
just the new ancestor. Calm down.
how this work? No, no." And I said it. She just like, and she tried to tell you in a pretty way that I'm gone with the butterfly, and your ass wasn't listening. And so she put the big ass turkey in your like. She was like, "Now move. What you gonna do now?" Woo! Like,
Oh,
I
when you
know.
told me, she was like, "Maritri up there turning knobs, talking about how this work."
And they trying to calm her down. She ain't paying nobody no mind. And she got that electromagnet thing. So folk, anybody who's performed with her live knows, performing with her with any amplified music knows that she will screw up a sound check. We have been on gigs and the sound system is pristine, balanced, everything is good to go, ready for the show. Maritri will come on stage for her sound check, and the system will just go bananas. A speaker will burst, feedback will come out of nowhere, shit start crackling, and you'd be like, "What happened?" And I gig with her so often, I'd be like, it's her. And the sound people would be like, they just ignore it. Like, no, I'm gonna find it. I'm looking for it. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's nothing in your system. It's her. And then finally I would be like, get off stage, Maritri. And she'd walk in the wings and it would go away. I said, it's her. I'm just telling you, it's her. However you ground her, whatever you need to do, she's doing it. And one of my boys was a sound man for us. He used to mix. He mixed with us when I was performing with them and Hugh and Andy. Shout out to my boy Andy Love. He started gigging. He would tell her when to come on stage because he figured out how to sound check systems before she got on stage. He put protocol. He had Maritri protocols. Like, so finally, and this, you know what? And so finally, being the brilliant mind that she was, she researched it and she told me, I don't even know if this shit is true, y'all, but she said she researched it and every human being has a magnetic field. And like the planet, it goes like clockwise motion or circle. And there are a group of human beings, a small group, whose magnetic field, it goes in the opposite direction. And they wreak havoc on electrical systems. And she happened to be a part of those, you know. And I was like, and I'm like, wow, that explains it all. Like, I realized when I'm telling people now, I'm like, I never confirmed.
You don't even know if it's true.
I don't even know that's really a thing. But that was her.
It sounds good.
It's all right. You know, she's thorough like that. I'm like, I trusted her. So at this point, I'm like, I need to find that out. So all you other brainiacs, if y'all want to find out, but that was her reason for it. But what I always believe is that pure voice was meant for acoustic giving. Her first group was Hugh, piano, acoustic piano, cello, viola, and voices. Soul folk. It just was. She burned some sage. She made some prayers. She sacrificed something so that she could, evolve to things like soul folk and not shut the whole system down. But that little thing never always went away. Ask David Pilgrim, ask V. Jeffrey Smith. Like, that thing can always go away, but they figured out how to manage it. She was.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
I couldn't tell that story the way you could. That's why I was like, Mo, you got to come on and leave us something to laugh about and admire. About our beloved Maritri.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
was classic.
I got to tell you one celebrity story with Maritri.
Okay.
Before we wrap up.
Before we close, yes.
We met Q-Tip, and me, her, and Andy were at Time Cafe. All you old heads remember Time Cafe on Lafayette and 4th behind Tower Records. We go there for brunch one day, and we're sitting down. We sit down at a booth, and Q-Tip walks in, and the whole room recognizes Q-Tip. He recognizes the whole room, and he just says, "Good morning, everybody," and he scans the room quickly and zeroes in on Maritri. And it's like the light, the light bulb moment, right? And he walks right straight to Maritri. Everybody's watching him go straight to Maritri, and he says, "Hi, my name is John." Silence. She said nothing. She didn't move. She just looked at him, mouth open, nothing. I literally leaned in, I nudged her, I said, "Speak, bitch." And I was like, we grinding, and this superstar is here, like he's checking for you. Say something. Oh my God. She finally eked out her name. He said hello. And he waited like, "Who are you? Da da da. Let's exchange numbers, something." Me and Andy were like, "Yo, we can bounce, y'all. You want to sit here?" She just froze, man. Oh, I cussed her out so bad after that. I was down the street. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, and we had this Ike and Tina-esque thing. So we were laughing. I was like, oh, okay, I promise not to cuss. I won't go all the way to it because it was woo. I was like, ah. But I just had to tell
So did they have a conversation?
No. She just was like, "Hi, Maritri," and his manager, somebody came in and is like, "Oh, our table's ready." So he just waved, said bye, and went on about his business. And I was like, "Oh, I'm about to shake you."
Oh, she got starstruck. That's funny. I didn't know that story.
Oh my God. Yes, I
I
feel
didn't know that story.
so
Um,
I guess full circle, underground superstar, man. She wasn't meant to get into that machine, man, because she's had
right.
other opportunities, and spirit knows, ancestors know, she would never, um, she would, she
She
would
was too
fly.
pure, probably. She was I would say maybe too pure for
Mhm.
corporate music or corporate entertainment. Again, I don't know how to say goodbye. I'll just say so long. But when the community decides at the appropriate time that it's time to lift her up and to ensure that we're never going to be disconnected, I would love to be a part of that, whatever it
Yep.
is. You know what I mean? We're gonna find a way to clip up that episode where she was on with Chris Owens, and not find a way, but we will clip it up and kind of share that because she dropped some gems, on the show here on the Sending. Um, we wanted her for Black Music Month, but I think if I remember correctly, the schedules didn't match up, so we had her in the fall. But it was a great episode. It was a great episode focusing on independent artists. So we'll do that. So Mo, I just want to thank you. It's always hard to kind of shift out of something when we're just. I needed that laughter, and I thank you for bringing it. You know what I mean, and always being available. I know that's your sister, but like I said, about my father, and I learned this from my uncle, who's a pastor, Pastor Sylvester Silver. We don't lose. We lose the shell that the
Right.
spirit was housed in,
Mhm.
right? We lose the opportunity to touch, the physical body, but we don't lose connection, right? The
No.
essence of Maritri cannot be defined or contained in flesh, bones, and muscle, and all the other things that happen under the skin.
So I gotta. I'm so sorry because I know you're still grieving losing your daddy, Eddie Silver, and it's been recent. And I know from unfortunately from personal experience, you don't you don't necessarily stop grieving, but it's I know when it's fresh, it's raw and present. So thank you for doing this in the midst of your own grieving, and we love you. And I think about you every day. The days we don't talk. Um, I can imagine, and some things I know you're going through because of it. Um, so I'm here for you. Um, and I'm gonna ask everybody here to lift her up in prayer. And Eddie Silver, who's a new ancestor. Um,
Oh,
hmm,
oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, not to shift. Thank you to Eddie Silver Jr. and Patricia Vassar Silver, who died 3 weeks before him.
fabulous.
So thank you.
You're so
So
welcome.
thank you. Just to come full circle, like, and there's so many people watching that have their own stories,
Hmm.
of losing a loved one. It's a unique community to be a part of. But we get to celebrate life. That's all I really wanted to say. We get to celebrate life. We get to make a decision that we can carry the essence of that person with us. There's a way to communicate, and they be sending us messages, be it a butterfly or a turkey or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? From the ancestral realm. And so we pray that their
Yes.
journey is a smooth one, because it is a journey. You know what I mean? Like you said, you just got there. It's like,
Sit down. Sit your
stop touching stuff.
They're paying no mind.
So so when it's time, I trust that this community will come together to celebrate her. That's going to be a time. Rolando said, "Oh, I'm loving these stories. It seems like a time was had."
Oh my God.
You
I
go
gotta say
ahead.
something. Closing when you ready. I know you need to close it
No,
out.
no, go ahead, because we're about to close out for sure. Yes, go ahead.
So it's gonna be a festival because you can't big up Maritri in one memorial. It's gonna be a festival. We can
Right,
take
cross country.
San Bernardino to Bed-Stuy or what have you. But I want to, something occurred to me. Um, one of our friends told me that Maritri was missing her family. You know, her mom, her dad, her brother passed away, and her immediate family was gone, and she was feeling lonely. And a few days later, she passed. And I said, Maritri now has the ultimate reunion of souls, her ultimate reunion of souls. She is with her family, and we should take solace. I beg us to take solace in the fact that our loss means that she gets her reunion of souls. And let's be thankful for her and happy for her, because she's not alone anymore. As much as we were with her and we had her and we loved her, with none like mommy and daddy and your brother, your blood.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and know that these times we live in, you think about Zora Neale, Langston, James Baldwin, and all of them. Like, they didn't call themselves the Harlem Renaissance. History did. What we are doing, the magic that we've created together, everybody, like, there are children that are going to look back on this time and go, Shelley Nicole Jefferson and David Pilgrim and Maritri and Corey Glover and April Silva and all Kevin Powell, like, all these people were in the same zip code at the same time. Like,
and they
like
knew each other and loved on each other and love and fought and love.
Roommates,
Raising children together.
Right. Making children
Yeah.
together. Like,
Right.
it's like all of that, man. Like, the only thing that's, I always say, the only thing in show business that is shiny and glossy is what's on the screen and on the stage. The rest of it is just hard, gritty work and love and blood.
That part. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you
That's it.
so much. Thank you to everybody in the chat, y'all. We are here every Saturday live at 11 a.m. Y'all in the live chat, so that means y'all subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Yeah. And spread the word,
So
y'all.
that's-
Spread the word. This is our space.
definitely. But we'll be when I'm standing by for the call. I'm standing by for the call to do whatever we're supposed to do. Mo Beasley, I love you more than words can say. You know that. So we'll be in communication. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I'm not good at saying goodbyes. So, like my grandmother always says, so long. But we want to remind you that, again, the Ascending playlist where you can see all 54 episodes on the YouTube channel, Marc Lamont Hill Network. That's the new URL, Marc Lamont Hill Network. Speaking of Marc Lamont Hill, we book for him. He's available. You can definitely bring him to your events. Contact Drake at AquilaWorksongs.com. Him and myself. We are available to come into your community to share what we do live in person. I want to remind you that you can follow me on social media. We'll be doing some BTS stuff on social media. I'm April R. Silver. I'm also Aquila Workshops. We got amazing new clients. We got Lisa Davis. We got Jermaine Jenkins. We got Abolitionist Place, the new nonprofit organization that tells the story of the Underground Railroad and the abolitionist community in Brooklyn. Shout out to Shanae. Shout out to Mama Joy and the whole organization. You'll see a new website coming soon. They'll be on the show as well. We got a lot going on at Aquila Worksongs and on Ascending. Follow Mark, follow us all so we can stay connected. Join the email list. Go to AquilaWorksongs.com, AquilaWorksongs.com, so that we can stay in touch. Thank you to my team again. We are grateful. And Maritri, we thank you for who you be, who you will always be to us. We will forever lift you up and say your name. Family, in the meantime, we'll see you next week. Stay up.